I hated these weights living on the basement floor. They were always in the way, always messy, and honestly, not very motivating. One of my New Year's resolutions, like I'm sure a lot of yours, was to move more. Nothing crazy, just move my body consistently. And I know myself well enough to know this: if a space feels good, I actually want to use it. So instead of buying something expensive, I decided to upgrade my workout space with a little DIY using scrap wood we already had. Our scrap wood pile is another disaster. This project didn't need to be perfect. It just needed to be functional. I started by measuring the space and laying out a simple design that would keep the weights off the floor and easy to grab. A few basic cuts, some screws, and suddenly this pile of scrap wood started to look like an actual rack. I made sure everything was sturdy because heavy weights and wobbly shelves are not the vibe. And when things look nicer, it makes me happy, so I painted the ends black and I kept the middle part natural wood with a clear finish for a nice, clean, modern look. Building this was honestly way simpler than I expected. I used easy cuts, basic tools, and I adjusted as I went. No complicated plans, no special materials, just measuring twice, screwing it together, and trusting that good enough is still really good. It's the kind of project that proves you don't need to be an expert to build something useful. The weights finally have a home, the floor is clear, the space feels intentional, and now, when I walk downstairs, it feels like an invitation instead of an obstacle. If you've got scrap wood, a few tools, and a space that could work for you instead of against you, I hope this inspires you.
I was just about to put it out on the curb, and then I had an idea. I began by pulling all of the drawers from the cabinet. Once the drawers were removed, I roughed up the sides and knocked off the rust with a sanding block. I didn't go crazy because the goal was just to prep the surface for paint. Next, I applied 1 coat of copper paint to the cabinet. You can definitely stop here, but I decided to add a little design using some painter's tape and white paint. Once my stripes were dry, I flipped the cabinet on its side to reveal the bottom. Using a screwdriver, I drilled holes and added 4 canisters as wheels, securing them with a washer and a nut. That's it! I rolled it out to my garage, and here is my new tool organizer. I love this organization idea, and I hope this inspires you to take a look at your eyesore and give it a new purpose.
I knew these wooden crates would be perfect to help corral my stuff, but not in the way that you think. I purchased 3 crates and began by sanding each one. Once the crates were sanded and wiped clean, I applied 2 coats of paint. I wanted to add wood to separate each crate, so I measured and cut 4 1 by 12 inch pine boards. After I cut the boards, I sanded the edges. Then I attached a piece of 1/4 round trim to the front of each board. This step is optional. I stained each board with Minwax Provincial Stain, then wiped away the excess stain using a soft cloth. For the doors, I measured and cut 1/4 inch plywood to size, then sanded the edges. I wiped the boards clean, then painted the doors the same color as the crates. To hang the doors, I used small hinges. I attached the hinges to the crate using number 40 machine screws. Once the hinges were on the crate, I attached them to the doors. I painted the heads of the screws the same color as the crates and door. To place a handle on the door, I used a piece of painter's tape. I put its sticky side up and placed the handle onto the tape. Then I marked the holes in the handle using a small screwdriver. Using the tape as a guide, I measured and applied the tape to the door. I drilled the holes through the door and attached the handle. I also attached a magnetic door closure to the inside top of the crate. Using 5-inch house numbers, I measured and marked the front of each door. I drilled the holes and attached the numbers using the number 40 machine screws. I place each of the 1 by 12 inch pine boards between each crate and screw them in place. I attach the top piece, screwing it fast from the inside of the crate so the screws wouldn't show. I love the way it turned out, and you can't even tell that it was handmade. It works perfectly to corral all of my stuff.
If you've got an old table just laying around, something inexpensive, let's turn it into a work of art. First thing you're going to do is measure the width of the table. On this one, it's 17 inches, and you're also going to need to measure the height. This is going to give you all 4 sides. What I did was went to the dollar store and grabbed some foam board. I wanted something that was going to be a little strong, but I didn't want to get wood, so I didn't have to use any power tools. Go ahead and mark out your square with your height and your width. Mark those lines and use an X-Acto knife to cut out your square. I put some cardboard underneath so that the cutting does not go through onto the table. Once you get this out, go ahead and make sure you get 4 of these exact sizes made. Now, we're going to take some contact paper, but we want some that has a marble look. I love this color. It's got a lot of different blends in it. This one is a little bit higher quality and it's pretty thick. What you're going to do is turn it over and look at that grid pattern on the back. It gives you all the lines you need. Go ahead and make a cut and make sure on your foam board you've got at least an inch overlap on both sides. Cut it straight through. Now, I'm going to show you something a little bit different with contact paper. I hate trying to pull the whole thing off at one time, so I pull a little bit off at a time. Go ahead, peel it off, get some sticky part showing. That's going to give you something to start with. If it's not enough, go ahead and pull a little bit more. There's nothing worse than wrinkling up your contact paper by trying to pull over too much at a time. Now, pull a little square off right there, something to grab, turn it over. Now remember, you do have a sticky side, so you want to line up the part that has the paper on the back first, and then, once you got it lined up, smooth it out with your hand, and it's going to immediately make contact. Then I grabbed a scraper, and you're going to use this to get any wrinkles or bubbles out, and you're going to work it as you go. I went ahead and pulled off the rest of the paper piece by piece and used the scraper to go along and get all of the wrinkles and any air bubbles that get trapped. Take your time on this, go slow, and make sure it looks great. The smoother it is, the better your project's going to be at the end. Remember that overlap on each side? You're going to turn it over and lap it over. Make sure you have a good 1.5 to 2 inches on each side. If it's a little bit too small, it may try to pull up on you. Now the tabletop, that doesn't need foam board. You can apply the contact paper directly to the top of the table. Again, you're going to need some overlap. Go ahead and use that scraper and keep going back and forth. Make sure it's as smooth as you can get. All of the wrinkles and air right out of there. Now, you got that side. Let's start with the first one. What you're going to do is test fit it. Make sure it's going to fit perfect. I always like to make sure I line it up with the top of the table. That's the most critical part. Grab some hot glue and you're going to lay a bead down along the legs, all the way up and down the top there, along the side of the table. It's okay if it goes on the contact paper, and then do the second leg. Put some on there also. This glue's a little bit on the hot side, so you want to watch the temperature. Once you get it on there, grab one of the sides and line it up on the top. If you cut it straight and cut it square, it's going to line up with the legs also. Get it just right. Make sure it's exactly where you want it, and then smooth it out and let the glue set up. Once that glue sets up, go ahead and turn your table over, and you're going to do the rest of the sides. Look at that grain. Doesn't it look amazing? Now, We're going to do the rest of the sides, and when we come back, I'll show you the final project. And here it is. Look at that thing. It looks so beautiful. I took my time on this and made sure the grain of the marble matched the top and the sides. I am so glad you joined us. I hope you like this project, and we'll see you again on Home Talk.